Hi there. Let's talk about a question that might have crossed your mind as a parent or grandparent. Should the elderly live entirely for their children and grandchildren? It's not just a simple yes or no. This is a question about how we choose to spend the later years of our lives. How do we balance the love and care we naturally have for our families with the need to take care of ourselves? It's only natural to love your children and grandchildren. As parents, it's instinctual. From the moment your kids were born, your life probably revolved around them. You worried about every cry, celebrated their first steps, and felt pride on their first day of school. Maybe you've even told yourself, as long as my kids are happy, I'll do anything. For many of us, seeing our children thrive is the greatest joy. But life changes, doesn't it? Your kids grow up, they start families of their own, and they build their own lives. Meanwhile, you're stepping into a different chapter of your own journey. Maybe your health isn't what it used to be, or you found yourself with more quiet moments now that life has slowed down. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, after all these years of giving so much to your family, have you ever truly lived for you? It's a tough question, because loving your family is a beautiful thing. It's one of life's greatest joys. But sometimes, in the process of giving, we forget that we deserve love and care too. If you're always putting yourself last, your health and happiness can take a hit, and without realizing it, you might even send the message that it's okay for your children to depend on you rather than stand on their own 2 feet. So, does living for your family mean sacrificing everything? Or could it mean something else like taking care of your health, finding your own happiness, and leading by example? After all, when you live a full and independent life, you show your children and grandchildren what resilience and self-love look like. Let's explore this together. How can we honor the love we have for our families while still embracing the lives we deserve to live? It's an important conversation, and one worth having. Let's start with the story of Richard and Margaret, an American couple living in suburban New York. They spent most of their lives raising 3 children, investing all their assets and energy into their children's education and career development. Thanks to their hard work and sacrifice, all 3 children became successful in their careers and built their own families. Their eldest son, David, is a well-known lawyer in Manhattan. Richard and Margaret were proud of his success and felt they had fulfilled their parental duties. However, things began to change when David married Sarah, a successful woman in the financial sector. At first, everything seemed fine, but over time, tension grew between Richard, Margaret, and their son and daughter-in-law. Sarah was strong-willed and independent. She valued privacy and was uncomfortable with too much involvement from her in-laws. Meanwhile, Richard and Margaret, out of love and concern for their son, frequently visited and took part in decisions within David's household. They thought they were helping, but in reality, this created conflict. David, caught between his parents' love and his desire to maintain peace in his marriage, felt pressured and conflicted. Every time Richard and Margaret visited or called, the atmosphere at home became tense. Sarah felt her life was being controlled, with little room for privacy. Small daily disagreements grew into larger arguments. The relationship between Richard, Margaret, and their eldest son became strained. This is a situation many families face today, and we all wonder how best to handle it. First, don't feel that you must save every penny to leave behind for your children. Many parents view their children as the center of their lives, leading to a constant worry about their well-being, even into old age. Many, upon reaching old age, put all their savings and assets into their children, only to find themselves left with nothing, relying on their children for support. Take the story of Helen, a Canadian woman who lived a simple and hardworking life with her loving husband, James. They had 2 children, a son and a daughter, both grown with families of their own. When James passed away after a long illness, Helen was heartbroken, but knew she had to carry on for her children. With endless love and trust in her children, Helen decided to sell the home she and James had built together over 30 years. She divided the proceeds equally between her 2 children, helping them pay off debts and improve their family lives. Helen also decided to move in with her son, believing she wouldn't have to live alone and could help take care of her grandchildren. At first, everything went smoothly. Her son and daughter-in-law were happy to have her stay. But over time, Helen's presence became a burden on her son's family. She began to feel unwelcome, and her daughter-in-law often complained about having to care for both her own family and an elderly mother-in-law. Not long after, Helen was diagnosed with a chronic illness that required special care. Rather than receiving devoted care from her children, she noticed a marked change in their attitude. Her son, to whom she had entrusted all her assets, began to express frustration, saying that caring for her was too difficult and disruptive to his family's life. In the end, her son and daughter-in-law decided to place Helen in a nursing home, claiming that professional care would be better for her. With a heart full of gratitude, but also sorrow, Helen reluctantly agreed. She entered the nursing home, hoping her children would visit often. But those visits became increasingly rare, until they almost stopped altogether. Helen's story serves as a painful reminder that, while a parent's love and sacrifice are unconditional, they may not always be reciprocated as expected. The decision to give away all assets and move in with one's children may not bring the peace and happiness one hopes for. As we enter our 60s and beyond, time is precious, and we can't take our accumulated wealth with us. Worrying too much about leaving behind assets for our children may ultimately be futile. Instead of hoarding and saving, why not enjoy the fruits of your labor? Use your money to travel, buy the things you love, or generously give what you can to others, without worrying about getting something in return. If your children don't appreciate what you've done for them, or if they're merely waiting for you to pass so they can claim your assets, that's even more reason not to stress about their future. Life is short, and once you're gone, no praise or criticism will matter. The remaining time should be spent enjoying the good things you've worked hard to create, rather than continuing to save or worry for someone else's future. Remember, your children have their own lives and destinies. They'll find their way without you having to control or sacrifice everything for them. Maintain a good relationship with your children. Love and support them when needed, but also be content with what you've saved. Don't keep working past retirement. Retire when you can, and be satisfied with what you've achieved. Don't place too many expectations on your children. While most children do love and appreciate their parents, their busy lives often prevent them from being as attentive as you might hope. In some cases, selfish children are ready to grab what they can even while you're still alive or wish you gone so they can take over your assets. Generally, children feel entitled to everything you have, while you may feel like you don't have a say in their finances. In life, a parent's love for their children is boundless. But even that love needs boundaries. Excessive worry for your children can harm both your health and happiness, as well as create unintended consequences for the children themselves. One of the greatest gifts parents can give their children is independence. Rather than intervening in every aspect of their lives, let them face challenges and make their own decisions. This not only helps children develop problem-solving skills, but also helps them grow into more confident, independent adults. Overprotecting or trying to control every aspect of their lives can lead to dependency, making it harder for them to manage on their own when you're no longer there to help. Allowing your children to be independent doesn't mean withdrawing your love. It means helping them grow in the most natural way. Children need to understand that life isn't always easy and that not everything will go their way. Meeting every one of their demands can make them selfish, dependent, and irresponsible. Instead, parents should teach their children the value of effort, of achieving things through their own hard work, by setting limits and saying no when necessary. Parents not only help their children learn to face challenges, but also teach them to appreciate what they have. This will help them grow into mature, strong, and independent individuals. Once your children have grown up and started families of their own, it's essential to respect their privacy and lives. Doing so not only helps maintain a harmonious family relationship, but also allows your children to develop their own lives without feeling burdened or pressured by their parents. Respecting boundaries and not interfering too much in their lives is a way for parents to show trust and respect. helping their children feel more responsible for building and protecting their own family's happiness. Parental love and support are invaluable, but setting limits is necessary for both parents and children to live their own lives fully and happily. Secondly, encourage children to show filial piety. Encouraging children to express filial piety is not only a moral responsibility, but also a way to strengthen family bonds and help them better understand the value of love and responsibility. In today's fast-paced society, where life is busy and children are often occupied with their own careers and families, the duty to care for and honor their parents can sometimes be forgotten or overlooked. This is why parents should take an active role in creating opportunities for their children to care for them. First and foremost, children should be taught that filial piety is not just an obligation, but also a source of pride and a reflection of love. It can start with simple things, like spending time talking to parents, listening to their stories, or performing small yet meaningful acts, such as cooking a family meal or helping solve everyday issues. These actions not only maintain a close relationship, but also make parents feel loved and appreciated. A real-life example of this is the story of Peter and Mary, a couple living in a quiet suburban area. They have 3 children, all of whom are now grown and have their own families. Peter has retired, while Mary suffers from a chronic illness that requires special care. Their children live far away and are busy with their own lives, so they don't have much time to directly care for their parents. Instead of bearing all the difficulties alone, Peter decided to share their situation with the children and asked them to help with what they could. He didn't ask them to come home frequently, but requested that they arrange their schedules to take turns bringing Mary to her doctor appointments once a month or help manage household expenses and chores. This not only made the children more aware of their mother's health, but also gave them the chance to express their care and responsibility. Gradually, they realized that despite their busy lives, making time to care for their parents was both important and rewarding. It strengthened family ties and gave them peace of mind knowing their parents were being looked after. Sometimes, parents, out of fear of becoming a burden or a desire to protect their children from worries, hide their difficulties. However, this unintentionally deprives children of the opportunity to fulfill their filial duties and may cause them to feel more distant from their parents. Instead, sharing the challenges you're facing with your children can not only lighten your own load, but also strengthen family bonds and create meaningful moments together. That said, encouraging children to express filial piety should come with flexibility and understanding. Children, no matter how much they want to, still have their own pressures and responsibilities. Asking too much or demanding comprehensive care can create unnecessary stress and even damage the relationship. Therefore, parents should be thoughtful in their approach, allowing their children to show love and responsibility in their own way, rather than imposing demands or making them feel burdened. Creating opportunities for children to show filial piety requires cooperation and understanding from both sides. Parents aren't just receivers, but also facilitators, encouraging their children to express their love and devotion naturally and meaningfully. When done well, it strengthens family ties, allowing both parents and children to feel a deep sense of love and connection. Third, living well and staying healthy. As we enter our later years, focusing on our health and happiness becomes not only necessary, but also a vital part of living a fulfilled and meaningful life. The elderly should dedicate time to taking care of both their physical and mental health, as these are the foundations for maintaining independence and joy in daily life. Take the example of David, a 75-year-old man living in a peaceful suburban area. After retiring, David found himself feeling bored, as though he no longer had value or much to do. However, he decided to make a change. He joined a local senior club where he could meet new friends and engage in social activities such as walking, playing chess, and even learning how to dance. These activities not only kept him physically active, but also helped him feel happier and more optimistic. In addition, David took great care to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Every morning, he spent time walking around the local park, enjoying the fresh air and nature. He also began eating healthier, focusing on fresh and nutritious foods, which help to maintain good health and avoid many common ailments associated with old age. Alongside self-care, the elderly play a crucial role in setting an example and providing moral guidance for their children, grandchildren, and society at large. Their lives, full of valuable experiences and lessons, are an endless source of inspiration for younger generations. David, with his patience and wisdom, was a role model for his grandchildren. He often shared stories from his life, teaching values like honesty, perseverance, and the importance of living responsibly. For instance, David would tell his grandchildren about the struggles he faced when he was younger and how, through patience and hard work, he overcame them. These stories not only helped the grandchildren learn more about their grandfather, but also taught them valuable life lessons, shaping their character and values from a young age. Additionally, David was an active participant in community activities, volunteering at the local library or helping other elderly neighbors. These actions not only made him feel useful, but also allowed him to pass on his values to those around him, encouraging a more positive and community-minded way of life. The elderly, with their wisdom and life experience, can become shining examples for their families and society. By living a joyful, healthy, and ethical life, they not only create a meaningful existence for themselves, but also inspire future generations, helping to build a strong moral foundation for society. Living this way, their lives become not just complete, but also leave behind a priceless spiritual legacy for their children and the community. Aging is nothing special. It's a natural part of life that everyone will experience. What's important is not to fear growing old, but to focus on how you live during those years. It's never too late to start living for yourself and doing the things you've always wanted to do. When you have more time for yourself in old age, it's a perfect opportunity to reflect on what you may have missed in life and turn those dreams into reality. You could travel to places you've always wanted to visit, join senior clubs, play sports, or even learn a new skill that you've always wanted to try. As you grow older, it's essential to love yourself more and take the time to live for yourself. After 50 or 60, there's no need to work yourself to the bone just to accumulate more wealth. Remember, money means nothing when facing death. The real question is, when should we stop striving for more wealth? How much is enough? $100 million or $10 billion? You may own thousands of acres of land, but in the end, all you need is a little food and a few bowls of rice a day. You can build many houses, but in reality, you only need a few square meters to sleep, rest, bathe, and cook. In the remaining time, all you need is a comfortable place to live, enough money to cover your daily needs, and a few essentials to get by. More importantly, keep your spirit happy and your heart joyful. Don't compare yourself to others in terms of material wealth or the success of your children. Instead, enjoy life more. Travel to places you didn't visit when you were younger. Reflect on who has more free time, who is truly happier, and who is healthier and living longer. Don't worry about things you can't change. It won't help you and might even make you sick. Instead, maintain a balanced mindset and focus on what brings you joy. While you still have your health and zest for life, set your goals and pursue them. Even in old age, you should still set small goals so that each day has meaning. A day without joy is a wasted day, while a day with even one happy moment is a successful day. Optimism can help you overcome illness quickly. And if your soul is happy, sickness has no room to take hold. Keep a positive mindset. Go outside often. Soak up the sunshine. And eat plenty of nutritious food. Overcome every difficulty to live another 30 or 40 years in good health. Lastly, live more for yourself. Don't become a servant to your children. Thank you for spending your time with me in today's video. As we've discussed, life is a meaningful journey, and each stage brings new opportunities to redefine how we live. As we grow older, this is the perfect time to pause, reflect, and appreciate our own value. You are not just a parent or a grandparent. You are you, and you deserve to live a fulfilling life. Starting today, Ask yourself, what truly brings me joy? Don't hesitate to prioritize your well-being. Embrace the things you love and renew your spirit. Remember, when you live a healthy, independent, and energized life, it's not just a gift to yourself, it's a valuable lesson for your children and grandchildren. They will see in you a model of strength, vitality, and self-love. This is how you can leave a lasting legacy that inspires the next generation to live well and cherish themselves. Life doesn't wait, and it's never too late to make a change. No matter your age, choose to live with intention and happiness. Each new day is an opportunity to write the next chapter of your life, a chapter filled with meaning, pride, and joy. If you found this message valuable, share it with your loved ones. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming content. Your support not only helps us continue spreading positive messages, but also contributes to building a community of love and understanding. Thank you, and I wish you good health, happiness, and the fulfillment of living every moment to its fullest. See you in the next video.